Everyone, welcome back into Apter's Alley for this week's edition of Apter Thoughts. Come on in, sit back, relax. As you know, this is where we talk about everything that's going on in the world of pro wrestling, controversy, anything. All right, and by the way, this segment, as you know, is usually run on Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, but we didn't get to it this week because there was some unfinished business, and I'm going to speak to you about unfinished business right during this segment. By the way, behind me, as you know, that great Vince McMahon controlling hundreds and hundreds of wrestlers, iconart.com. You can see the making of it right there. So thanks again to our friends at Icon Art. So lots of stuff to talk about today. First thing, we got a letter from our good friends at Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the editor Stu Sachs, and this is about the PWI 500 errors and how this is being resolved. Now, let me back up and say something. As you people know, I worked for the Pro Wrestling Illustrated family of magazines for many, many, many years, and sometimes things happen. I mean, that you can't, it's out of control, and then you see a proof, and it's like, ugh! Well, these things happen, and Stu Sachs wrote this letter, and it's out on the PWI site. And to read the entire correction about this, you can go to http:// bottom line is prowrestlingillustrated.blogspot.com. It's prowrestlingillustrated.blogspot.com. So here's what's going on. Stu Sachs writes, after much back and forth with staff members and contributors, we've decided that the best course of action for dealing with the errors in the PWI 500 this year is to take the unprecedented step of reissuing the rankings. That's an incredible move. All the years of PWI 500, I've never heard of that, so I'm glad they're addressing this. You know, it's terrible when some newspapers and magazines just let things go. These people are honorable and they're taking care of it. These changes, Stu writes, will not be reflected in either the digital or print editions of the magazine, as the mistakes were detected too late. And that's a whole thing with going to the printers and all that. It's part of the publishing industry. Stu adds, the revived PWI 500 will supersede the published version and be viewed as official. Okay, so that one's going to be viewed as official. The original 500 contained several regrettable mistakes, Stu says, and there was an instance where a wrestler's bio was inadvertently left off a page, 2 instances in which the same wrestler appeared twice on the list, and one in which an elite star was omitted entirely. So again, these things happen. So go to prowrestlingillustrated.blogspot.com and you'll see what they're going to do about it. PWI-online.com. And again, our good friends at Pro Wrestling Illustrated, I know for a fact when I was there, the people that sat there and wrote the Pro Wrestling Illustrated 500 and the editorial people who edited all those little capsule profiles and everything. Do you think that's how I lost my hair? If I was one of them, that's probably how it would have happened. Okay, so let's talk about Tyler Rex. Tyler Rex announced recently that he was quitting the WWE, and a lot of people were very upset, especially Hawkins, his partner, I assume. But listen, I got in touch with Tyler Rex, and what a great guy. He's got a family that he wants to devote more time to, a new young little one at home, and I give big thumbs up to Tyler Rex for making this decision. And he's also got himself a great business there. So if you look on Google, just Google Tyler Rex, it'll come up, and find his website where he's doing all this great website business and all that, and support him. He's a great guy, and we hope to have him on for an interview somewhere in the near future. Tyler Rex, good job. So let's talk about that unfinished business. So usually when I tape this segments on these segments rather on Wednesday or Tuesday night, I'm here in Apter's Alley with all my great stuff around. Look at this. I got my original camera here. Shot a lot of matches with this. And just it was filmed back then, gang. But anyway, beside pro wrestling, I also photographed a lot of boxing, boxing action, and studio photos. A lot of great boxers, all the way from Muhammad Ali to Evander Holyfield to Riddick Bowe, and so many heavyweight champions, and Boom Boom Mancini and Vito Antuofermo. I could go on and on about that. And I did mention the greatest of all time. So here's what's going on. Two boxers who had two extremely riotous matches, fights. These guys are Riddick Bowe, former world heavyweight champion, and Poland's Andrew Golota. Well, in those two fights, Golota was disqualified for repeated low blows on Riddick Bowe. So these guys truly, I mean, this goes way back, these guys truly despise each other. They really did. So one day, somebody said they should just throw these guys into a cage, into a steel cage, just like in pro wrestling. And well, ding, the man in charge of a new company called Rivalry Championship Wrestling, Darren Antola, has been a good friend of Riddick Bowe's for many, many years. And he proposed this to Riddick Bowe recently. And he said, do you want to do this? And Riddick Bowe just said, get me the damn fight. In the meantime, the mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, the WWE Hall of Famer, is good friends with Andrew Golota. And he was talking to Golota. And, well, anyway, this whole thing came together. Okay, and it turns out that the fight is scheduled, and it's going to be in Golota's home country, in Łódź, Poland. Here we pronounce it, it's L-U-T-Z or L-O-D-Z. We'll look it up a bit later. But it's going to take place on November 3rd at the Atlas Arena in Poland. And these two guys, who totally despise each other, are going to get into the steel cage, fight it out. The card is called Unfinished Business. There's going to be other wrestling matches on the card. So we will keep you posted. But I was not here on Wednesday because I was hosting the press conference. I am going to Poland, and I will be doing ringside commentary alongside WWE Hall of Famer James J. Dillon. Yep, Four Horsemen. He's going to be my my compadre in the broadcast booth. So I will keep you up to date on all the action here. And now, what I did want to tell you, Jimmy Hart has agreed now to be in the corner of Andrew Golota. He's working on having Golota trained and everything like that. Also, another independent wrestler known as Crusher Kowalski has also got Jimmy Hart managing him, and he's going to be part of that whole Golota troupe there. Now, on the other side, Riddick Bowe, the guy that's taking care of him, Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan is going to be working with Riddick Bowe. So this is going to be, as they always say, all hell breaks loose. It's going to happen on November 3rd in Łódź, Poland. Somebody told me they call that Hollywood. And the photo, or the photos that we've been showing during this, were taken by Jed Wosseger. And we want to thank Jed very much for supplying them. And they were taken at the Wisla Club, which is a great Polish-American club in Garfield, New Jersey. So if you're in that area, if you're somewhere else, and you want to have a great night of food and dancing or karaoke, just look it up, Google it. It's the Wisla Club in Garfield, New Jersey. Okay, let's move on now. News of the National Wrestling Alliance. This is a biggie. The National Wrestling Alliance, whose former champions include Lou Thesz, Harley Race, Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., Ric Flair, Terry Funk, so many guys, they have a brand new ownership. Yes, okay, so this press conference says from Houston, Texas. International Wrestling Corporation, LLC, a Texas corporation with headquarters in Houston, which makes sense because this came from Houston, has acquired exclusive ownership of the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance. The president and CEO is the Honorable R. Bruce Tharp, Esquire. Vice President and Chief Operating Officer is Fred Rubenstein. The National Wrestling Alliance, as you know, is the oldest sanctioning body in professional wrestling, and NWA branded events have been and will continue to be promoted around the world, and they started way back in 1948. All right, so let's talk about, we're going to get to Raw in a minute, but I want to tell TNA something. Last Thursday, TNA did something that made me pop. I like to bring out nostalgia once in a while. Check this out. This is my Hollywood Hogan NWA costume set. It's never been open. What you gonna do when Hollywood Hulk Hogan? Can you imagine if I put this thing on, be Hollywood Willie Apter, if you will? But they brought back, Hogan is back as my favorite Hogan character ever. I mean, even the original Hogan, he was great and all this kind of stuff and gave everybody, Hulkamania. But this guy was my favorite. And when I saw him last week on TNA, I popped big for that. So I'm looking forward to more Hollywood Hulk Hogan, brother. All right, let's talk about this past week's Monday Night Raw. I'm angry, okay? So we're not going to talk about my anger immediately. Let's just run down some of the things. AJ Lee attacking Vicky Guerrero. Cool. That was really good. Hope something. Is it an abuse of power? So let's go along with this. You know where to leave your comments right down below here on YouTube or OneWrestling.com, www.OneWrestling.com, and leave your comment there. But is it abuse of power what they're doing with AJ Lee and Vicky Guerrero? I thought that was really cool. I liked that moment. Tag team match. Brodus Clay and Sin Cara took on Damian Sandow and Cody Rhodes, and Brodus won with a big splash on Cody Rhodes. And once again, it proved that Sin Cara was able to wrestle in normal light. I am still working on trying to get Sin Cara lighting here in Apter's Alleys. So one of these days, I got a lot of stuff on the table here, and I want to talk to you more about Raw, but I found this old magazine. Look at it, old issue of the Wrestler magazine with a hypothetical match of Bruno Sammartino against Gene Kiniski. I'm going to read this while I'm on the road and see what it's all about. This was before I started with them. This was in 1969. It was only 50 cents. Can you even buy a magazine for 50 cents anymore? Okay, so let's talk about Triple H coming out. And no, he didn't spit water this time. He was in a suit and tie. He was Triple H, the corporate man, of course. And he's basically saying that Brock Lesnar broke him, and which his arm showed. And the fans don't want him to retire. They kept yelling out, "Yes, he can do it." So all the fans in the arena there yelling out, "Thank you, Hunter! Thank you, Hunter! Thank you, Hunter!" You know what? I believe wrestlers retire, but again, like Terry Funk, who's come back 5,000 times, I don't think Triple H is going to come back 5,000 times. But I firmly believe we will see him, let's say, within a year. Okay, maybe WrestleMania next year. I don't know, but the guy, he's not ready to retire. All right, I'm angry. All right. CM Punk against Jerry Lawler. They really had me going. I mean, Jerry Lawler, who I've admired forever, and I think CM Punk is terrific. And remember, PWI says he's the best in the world, #1. That match really bothered me, and I'll tell you why. Because not only did CM Punk win the match, but Jerry Lawler barely put up any offense at all. He had one or two moments, And then at the end, Punk just sat on him. Boom, 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 boom. Why put CM Punk in with Jerry Lawler in a situation like that, where Jerry Lawler is just going to be down the whole match? It just, I don't know, if you look at it from the point of view of the fans in Memphis, who Jerry Lawler has always been the king of Memphis, it just didn't look right to me. I would have liked to have seen Jerry Lawler, give Punk a hell of a beating, and then if he lost, he lost. But I was really confused and upset that he was down the whole match. I mean, just to see Punk beating up on Jerry Lawler, and Jerry Lawler's legacy, he's wrestled every major name in the business, and to go down in a match like this, I don't know. I just don't approve of it. I'm not saying what they did is wrong. I'm not one of these people to say, oh, they shouldn't have done it, it's wrong, even though I just said that. But I would have preferred they played that a bit differently. Now, here's one thing that I can't figure out. I cannot figure this out. In steel cage matches, now, Bo and Galata, listen to this, please, okay? In steel cage matches, to win in a steel cage match, you got to get the guy to either tap out, right, give up, or you can go out the door, right, or you can climb the cage, scale the cage, and drop to the floor and be declared the winner. For about 3 or 4 minutes, John Cena came in to try and help Jerry the King Lawler, but he kept asking him to raise the cage. Raise the cage. And at that point, Punk was still taking shots at Jerry Lawler's head. Why didn't John Cena climb the cage? Can't you just go up and drop in? And then he could have beaten up CM Punk or rescued Jerry Lawler. I don't get it. If you people have an answer, I don't know, please let me know. So I want to wish everybody in the United States a great Labor Day weekend. And I want to once again thank everybody for tuning in here to Apter's Alley. Lots more news coming on. Next week we'll be back on the regular schedule. Don't forget to check out Big Ray's TNA reports. And also the lovely Lady B from NYC. She's terrific, isn't she? Yeah. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Apter1Wrestling. And you can also follow us all on the website at One Wrestling. And until next time, it's time to get out of the alley. Let me take one more picture of you here. Could make a cover of Fighting Spirit magazine. Don't forget, the current issue, Fighting Spirit magazine, is on the stands right now. That guy says he's the best in the world. I'm not going to say it. You come here and beat me up, CM Punk. That's it. We're at Apter's Alley. And as always, we'll see you at the matches.